Namaste, good night everyone. Today is actually Christmas Day in the island of Trinidad and Tobago, and I haven't really left the house yet to hang with family. It's a day everyone actually celebrates. You don't really have to be a Christian or Catholic. It's a public holiday, so everybody tends to go hang out with each other. So I'll get right to it because I don't like keeping these videos too long. So today I'm going to read book 5, chapter 35 on the receiving of the boons by the king Surata and the Vaishya Samadhi. Om Vakratuna Mahakaya Koti Surya Samaprabha Nirviganam Kudavideva Sarvakaya Sushalva. Om Ekadantai Vidmim Vakratundai Dimnurtanti Prachodayat. Om Gam Ganapate Namam Gam Ganapate Namam Gam Ganapate Nama Hari Om Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Vidyarabhinna Sanshita Namastase 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 Namo Nama. Om Hamsa Hamsa Vidmi Paramamsa Dimi Tano Hamsa Prachodayat. Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Deva Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasme Shri Guruve Nama. Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Tat Sat. Vyasa said, O king, hearing thus the Rishi's words, the king Surata and Vaishya, who were very distressed in their minds, became very much comforted and bowed down to the Muni with great humility and modesty. Their eyes expressed their gladness, and their hearts were filled with loving devotion. Both of them, then clever in speaking and of calm and quiet temper, began to address him with their folded hands. O Bhagavan, we were passing our days in a very humble and distressed spot. We are today purified by your good words, just as the country was rendered pure by Bhagirath when he brought down the river Ganges here. The saints adorned with purely good qualities are incessantly engaged in doing good to others, and how the people can be made happy. O intelligent one, surely we have come to this auspicious ashrama owing to our past good deeds in previous births, and all our miseries are therefore brought to their ends today. There are good many persons that roam in this world for their selfish ends. Very few there exist like you who are always ready to do good to others. O Muni, true that I am very much distressed by this. Vaishya is more distressed than me. But this Vaishya is more distressed than me. Both of us very much afflicted by the miseries of the world, have come gladly to your ashrama and have relieved of our bodily sufferings by your sight. And now, hearing your words, we are relieved also of our mental pain and sufferings. O Brahmana, we are very much blessed, and our objects have been gained by your nectar-like words. O thou, the ocean of mercy, you have purified us out of your unbounded mercy. We are quite tired of this world. Knowing this, do you lead us beyond this world by holding our hands and by initiating us with mantrams. O best of Munis, we will first of all practice a very hard tapasya, asceticism, and worship Bhagavati, and Bhagavati, the awarder of happiness. Then, seeing her, we will go to our respective abodes. Now we will expect the 9-lettered mantra of the Devi from your mouth, and practicing the Navarata Varam, we will fast and meditate on the mantra. Note, the 9-lettered mantra is Om Mahesa Mardinaye Svaha. Instead of Om, any of the following may be used: Hrim, Klim, Aim, Srim, or Hum, mentioned in Sarada Tilaka, Narayani Tantra, or in Visvasara Tantra. See page 125 of Tantra Sara. Vyasa said, O king, when the king and Vaishya prayed thus to the Muni Sumedha, the best of the Munis, gave them the auspicious mantra with its seed Vija, and as well what is to be meditated Dhyan on getting the mantram with Rishi, Chanda, Siddh, Shakti, and Devata duly. They welcomed the Muni and with his permission went to the holy bank of a river. Both of them were of delicate frames and both of them were fully determined. They went to a very solitary place and selected their place and took their seats there. They spent 1 month in repeating silently the mantra and in chanting the 3 glorious seeds of Chandi. In this short period of 1 month, they became very much attached to the lotus feet of Bhavani, and their minds were also much pacified. They attended to no other business, only they used to go to the Muni once a day, and bowing down before him, they returned to their own seats of kusagras and gave themselves up to the meditation of the Devi and always repeated silently their mantras. O king, 1 year thus passed away. They then abstained from taking fruits and subsisted on the leaves of trees. Thus engaged in meditation and asceticism, they passed away another year, sustaining themselves with dry leaves only. O king, when the 2 years thus passed, they got in their dreams a beautiful vision of the goddess Bhagavati. They were very much delighted to see in their dreams the Ambika Devi in red robes and decorated with various ornaments. They practiced tapasya in the 3rd year with water as their only food. Thus, when they found that, after practicing the tapas for 3 years, they could not see face to face the Devi, they became very anxious to see the Devi and thought thus: when we have not been so fortunate as to see the Devi, who art the bestower of peace and happiness to the human beings, we will then leave our bodies in deep distress and sorrow. Thus thinking, the king prepared a beautiful triangular kunda pit, firm and of 1 hand measure. Lighting a fire in that pit, the king began to cut off slices of flesh from his own body and offering them as oblations to the fire. The Vaishya too then did the same. O king, both of them were very much excited and began to offer their blood as oblation to the Devi. The Devi Bhagavati then, seeing them thus grieved and that their hearts were overflowing with devotion toward her, appeared direct before them and said thus: O king, you are my favorite devotees. I am pleased with your tapasya. Now ask whatever you desire. I will grant you that boon. Then she spoke to the Vaishya: O highly fortunate one, I am pleased. Ask without any delay, any boon. I will grant that just now. Vyasa said: O king, hearing thus the words of the Devi, the king Surata was very much delighted and said thus: O Devi, grant me this boon, that I be able today to conquer my enemies with my own power, and that I may regain my kingdom. The Devi then spoke to him thus: O king, go to your own abode. Your enemies are now enfeebled and will certainly be defeated. Note, the Devi has now withdrawn her own power from the enemies with which they were filled before. This is the result of the real sacrifice of the Devi. O fortunate one, your ministers will all come and prostrate themselves before your feet and will be obedient to you. You can now go back to your city and govern your subjects happily. O king, thus reign for Ajuta years, 10,000 years, over your widely extended dominion. Then, when you quit your body, you will again be born from Surya and be known widely as Savarni Manu. Vyasa said: O king, the pure-natured Vaishya said with folded hands: O Devi, I have nothing to do with house, sons, nor wealth. O mother, the house, wealth, and sons, all these are so many sources of bondage to this world and are very transitory, like dreams. Therefore give me knowledge, so that my ties to this world be cut asunder. Persons who are devoid of knowledge, those fools are merged in this ocean of world. The wise never prefer this samsara, therefore they can cross this world. Vyasa said: O king, hearing this, the Mahamaya said to the Vaishya that stood in front of her, Thus, O Vaishya, no doubt you will acquire knowledge. Thus granting boons to them, the Devi then and there disappeared. After the Devi had disappeared, the king bowed down to the Muni, mounted on his horse, and expressed a desire to go back to his kingdom. Just at that time, all his ministers and subjects came humbly before him, bowed down to him, and standing before him with folded hands said, O king, your enemies all had acted very sinfully, hence they were all slain in battle. You will be passed now the remain in your city, free from any enemy, and govern your subjects. The king, hearing thus, bowed down to the Muni, and with his permission started towards his kingdom. Surrounded by his ministers, on regaining his own kingdom, wife, relatives, and kinsmen, he began to enjoy the sea-girt earth. On the other hand, the Vaishya became illuminated with the spiritual knowledge, and all his connections and attachments became completely severed, became free from all bondages. He became liberated in his lifetime and traveled always from one place of pilgrimage to another, and passed away his time in singing the glorious deeds of the Devi. O king, thus I have described to you the most powerful character of the Devi, what fruits were obtained by the king and the Vaishya on their worshipping her, how the deities were killed by her, and about her auspicious appearances on this earth. Oh, such is the glory of the Devi, leading to fearlessness amongst her devotees. The mortal who hears constantly this excellent pure narrative of the Devi Bhagavati gets truly all the best and wonderful pleasures of this world. No doubt, anyone who hears this wonderful incident will obtain knowledge, liberation, fame, happiness, and purity. The essence of all religions lies in this narration. Therefore, it leads above all to dharma, artha, kama, and moksha, which is religion, wealth, desire, and liberation. It grants all desires to human beings. Sutta said, O Rishis, the Maharishi Vyasa, the son of Satyavati, versed in all the departments of knowledge, asked by the king Janamejaya, narrated to him this divine Samhita, the character of Chandika, the killing of the Daitya Shumba, were thus narrated by the merciful Muni Veda Vyasa. O Munis, I too have described to you the main points of this Purana. Here ends the 5th book. Here ends the 35th chapter of the 5th book on the receiving of the boons by the king Surata and the Vaishya Samadhi in the Devi Bhagavatam, the Maha Puranam of 18,000 verses by Maharishi Vedvyas. The 5th book completed. Om Jayanti Mangala Kali Bhadra Kali Kapalini Durga Kshama Shivadatri Swaha Swadha Namasute. Om Tumeva Mata Chapita Tumeva Bandhu Shacha Saka Tumeva Vidya Dravinam Tumeva Sarvam Mama Devade. Om Shanti.